Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watchman is here with another tropical weather update. Today we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm 11, Tropical Storm Elvis, and Tropical Depression 96P. Today is January 30th, 2025. Let's get right into this video. So, with Tropical Storm 11, as of the 30th of January, it's currently got an air pressure of about 999 millibars, 35 knots. Formerly was known as Invest 93S. So, what I want to show y'all is the storm is being sheared a little bit, as y'all can see. I'm going to actually put this on visible so you can actually see where the center circulation is way over here. Make this. What is this? That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Learning new things every day. That's where the center circulation is, right about there. And all the cloudiness is way over here. So that wind shear is really kind of ripping the storm apart, to say the least. Looking at the wind field, it has expanded a little bit, but not really by a lot, as the storm is being sheared. It is going to weaken back into a depression. However, we do think it will strengthen back into a tropical storm as wind shear does go down, and the dry air is also inhibiting some weakening in the storm as well. Very warm sea surface temperatures, 28 degrees, 28, 29 degrees Celsius right here. Very warm, warm enough then for it to support a tropical cyclone. Sea surface temperatures will also continue to warm as the storm progresses off to west. Looking at some of the forecast tracks, about 72 to 96 hours from now, there will be some impacts to Mauritius and Réunion. Those impacts will mainly be heavy rain, some gusty winds here or there, but a lot of heavy rain and some flooding is certain. And then from there, it really it's becoming more certain that about 120 hours from now, we are expected to see this have some impacts to Madagascar. The intensity of that looks to remain pretty weak, but some of the models I've been looking at, like the GFS model, does have it a little bit stronger, and we're going to get into that later in this video. Again, the storm tracks, it is expected to weaken, and then it is expected to intensify, but it has to get through this wind shear, and it has to get into a more humid environment for us to really see any kind of intensity. Right now, we also need to see some convection near the center, and the center is exposed. As long as we don't have any convection near the center, this storm is not intensifying anytime soon. Here's the official track from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. As you can see, there it is as of today at 35 knots. Again, a low-end tropical storm. As it does battle this wind shear a little bit, as you can see, it really doesn't intensify. It begins to intensify as it begins to get close to Mauritius and Réunion. There it is, about 40 knots, 45 miles an hour. As it passes on and approaches Madagascar, we begin to see that uptick in intensity, 45 knots, about 50 miles an hour. We will get a better idea of how much stronger this is going to be, and the cone of uncertainty is going to shrink as we do get closer to Mauritius, Réunion, as well as Madagascar. But again, the overall threats will remain: lots of heavy rain, flooding, and not a lot of storm surge. We're not going to see, super strong winds. This is going to be a super powerful major cyclone. But some of the models are showing it becoming a little bit more intense. So as you can see through its life, it was a disturbance, then it reached depression, then it was into a storm, then back to a depression, then a storm, and then probably back to a depression because the wind shear has increased. And we're starting to see it beginning to fall apart. So I do expect to see it fall back into a depression status. And you can easily see that here with the visible satellite imagery, where that center circulation is at, and that wind shear is just pushing all that convection away from the center of circulation. Latest GFS forecast. The GFS, I looked over on Tropical Tidbits, and it did look to be pretty, a little on the intense side. I think they were showing air pressures 978 millibars. But let's just see what it shows here. So again, you can see the humidity. There is dry air. You can see that dry air wrapping in around it. These are the winds. This is the shear. It is in a little bit of shear, 20 to 25 knot wind shear. The wind shear does appear to increase a little bit, but then it really begins. Again, there it is, 978 millibars. Again, there it is, 978 millibars. There is still some shear with this system. 978.4 millibars. Looking like we're seeing 60 knots, about 70, 73, close to 74 miles an hour, close to hurricane intensity. But as you can see, where we're starting to see a lot more moisture. Wind shear is still at 20, 25 knots, not too good. It really looks like wind shear kind of just keeps going with the storm the entire way. And as you can sort of see, we do begin to see it do hit pretty, it does in fact hit hurricane intensity. It does look like there could be some high pressure slowing it down as it does move in this area. As you can kind of see the center of the storm from this satellite imagery right here that we are looking at that. So this one model does show that this could become a more intense system. It is a little bit on the concerning side. The the Euro model only goes out 144 hours. We are going to look at it as well because it is important. Again, here you can kind of see the satellite imagery. It really doesn't become really strong. It remains relatively weak. It doesn't ever really hold on to really tropical storm intensity. It tries to 30 to 35 knots, 1 minute sustained. But overall, it does look like it's going to be a big rain event for Madagascar, as you can see. Not too much of heavy rain bands going over Mauritius and Réunion, but I do think there could be a fair amount of rain bands, heavy rain, moments of heavy rain that go over the islands. But again, we go back here, we still see that dry air wrapping in around it, which is why we have that storm struggling as well as that wind shear right now. Alright, I do want to go on and talk about some of these other systems. 11S beginning to move away from Madagascar right now. Here is the latest satellite imagery. Lots of wind shear. It's being pulled apart by the jet stream, and from here on out, it's just going to weaken and fall apart. As the jet stream pulls it away, there is still some heavy rain there in southern Madagascar, but all that I believe is going to be pulled out and move away from the storm, or from the island. Sea surface temperatures are beginning to cool off. We are now about to drop below that 26-degree isotherm of what we need to support a tropical cyclone. Here on out, I do not expect this to really even be able to support tropical cyclone intensity. It's just going to really fall apart from here on out because it is now moving away rapidly from Madagascar. No more threats to land as it continues to move away. And then looking at tropical depression 96P, it's been going from Invis to depression, but my goodness, these waters are incredibly warm. Look at this. I was gonna take a look, see if we could see the surface profile here. Yeah, 86 kilojoules in its area. Lots of heat, ocean heat content right here. Close to an average of about 100. Taking a look at the average TCHP out here. I mean, look to that north. We're talking 200 plus. But right in this area, we are seeing about 100 kilojoules of energy right in this area. So there is a lot of energy for the storm to tap into. Lots of energy, lots of warm water. Taking a look at the satellite loop, lots of deep convection over Queensland, Australia. So it shows that there's most likely a lot of flooding going on. Lots of heavy rain, lots of flash flooding going on in portions of northeastern Australia. And this is expected. Tropical tidbits. I want to look at the forecast models for Australia. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. hit North America by accident. This is the GFS model. It does try to show that system down there, 96B. Tried to intensify a little bit, 996 millibars, but overall it seems very weak because of how close it is in proximity to the Australian coastline. There it goes. It just sort of hovers there. We could be seeing some storms. I'm just going to kind of go through all of this, get a better idea of what we could see in the future. We're going to see an uptick. And definitely seems like we're going to see an uptick in tropical cyclone activity, but really only go out about 168 hours out from now. Anything beyond that is just unreliable, 100%. You can't really use that to forecast a storm. But certainly we are going to see some storms ramping up here over the next 2 days very quickly. Multiple storms, very small, away from the coast, but certainly some storms developing there. Off the coast of Australia. Let's take a look at the South Indian Ocean. Get a better idea of where these storms are at and where they're going. So down here, this down here is Elvis, tropical storm / tropical depression 11S. It just sort of weakens, it strengthens, it weakens, and then it really, again, it strengthens right before the coastline. And then we're going to have these other two systems right over here near Indonesia firing off in about even like a day and a half from now. I mean, it fires up like that. It's quick. Here we are now. Here's 6 hours out. You kind of see a little cluster of thunderstorms in this area. 24 hours out from now, we get a closed low, it looks like. 30 hours out from now, we drop it below 1,000 millibars. So a day and a half from now, we could see easily a tropical depression, possibly even a tropical storm if this plays out. If it doesn't, in fact, intensify this quickly with that system there. And then another one right behind it. And then those just be out to sea storms not affecting anyone, which is what we always want. We don't want any of these storms affecting anyone. Taking a look at the Euro, seeing what they got here. Again, we got Elvis down here, and we got 11S right here. Again, the Euro shows it relatively weak, doesn't really intensify. But again, it does have these storms off the coast of Indonesia and Australia rapidly intensify. So we are seeing models in agreement that we will see a rapid uptick in activity within the next several days. Does not show anything in 24 hours. The GFS is showing something about it just pop up at any second. The GFS does take it a little longer, about 3 days before we really get those systems developing. But they do show that they do intensify quite a bit. And again, they're both moving away from Indonesia and away from Australia and just going out to sea. So we do expect it's just going to go, once again, out to sea, not affecting anyone. But it is something to monitor and watch and update. And then I do want to do this model. This model is, again, more particularly good with predicting the direction if we're going to see an uptick in tropical activity or the direction of a specific storm that we're going to see. So again, this storm does show that it is going to move towards Madagascar. 991 millibars really does not seem that unreasonable. I expect something in the 990s is certainly a possibility. And again, it also shows these two storms popping up. And again, it also doesn't show that there's going to be it impacting any land, which is very, very good. So again, in about 2 days from now, we're really going to see two storms out there. It's going to ramp up, but it's not going to, again, impact anyone. I want to make that very clear. Those two storms off the coast of Indonesia are not going to impact anyone. I want to take a look at southwestern Pacific Ocean and see what we got going on here. And then just kind of want to close this up. I don't want to keep this going forever. We didn't really see anything off the coast. Again, we do have a few storms trying to fire up there. But again, do infecting these areas of the Southwest Pacific. Again, we looked at the GFS, so not really showing anything in terms of extreme activity, but beyond the 168 time frame, we do see a little bit more activity. Southwest of the Pacific, it's kind of been all over the place. One day they'll show a lot, and the next day they don't show very much of anything. And then this model, as you can see, again, not really showing we could see some sort of a system, but nothing too particularly strong. So guys, that's really going to be it. I just want to give you all that quick update on the tropics. Again, thank you so much for watching. All the links will be in the description for the Discord. $1 a month you could start to support the Hurricane Watch Team on Patreon. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to go to Discord, ask us questions as well. We do have an account on Blue Sky. Again, all these links will be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and peace out.